Hello everyone, it's Sherlock here. Welcome to Business Tech Masterclass, our session one of our beta group. Huge welcome to everybody who has been nice enough to join us in this beta group. Thank you very much for this. This includes Lisa Levin, George Verdilaga, Ayn Tajik, Mo Moody, and also Dr. L. It's been an honor to know all of you, and thank you very much for all of your support. In our class today, we're going to take a look at the basics of basically what every business owner needs to know, sort of theories and tools that everybody needs to know in order to maintain their business afloat and going. So in the next 80 to 90 minutes, we're going to take a look at web. So basically, bear with me. I know it might sound a little dry, but first we're actually going to realize what internet is and how exactly it works. From there, we're going to take a look at some content management systems, which are basically the systems that we all use in order to present the services that we have or present the products that we have online. We're going to take a look at custom email addresses and business profiling online in general. Basically, what are the tools that we need? And I can bet that most people who are present here, you already own those tools. So I'm just going to show you how easy it is to create that online for yourself. We will take a quick look at integrations, the scariest of them all. And yes, I am saying it this way because when I was doing my market research, every time I was talking to someone, hey, what is your biggest problem when it comes to, before I finish the question, integrations. Everybody was like, integrations, we don't know how it works. So we're going to take a look at that. And in the end, we're going to answer the question, what exactly is a funnel and how exactly it can be designed? In the following 5 instruction sessions that will come, we will basically cover each one of these modules more in depth. And we're going to take in our practice sessions, we're going to take a look at specifically your platform. We're going to try and do everything that we have learned in the instruction session on your platform so that you can face the issues that you might be facing in the future so we can go ahead and fix it together. So without further ado, my friends, let us get started. First, what is the internet? It's a stupid question. Sorry about that, but bear with me. It will not be very stupid in 2 minutes. I asked this question from some of my fellows, and the question was, okay, just to make sure, do you see my my PowerPoint screen?
Yes.
Perfect. All right, just checking that. Alrighty. So we asked this question from everyone. I started by asking this question from one of my friend's nephew. He's only 12 years old, and I was like, okay, so you are the new generation. Let's see what your definition is. I was like, what is the internet? And his response was, what do you mean? What is the internet? I was like, what is the internet? What is it made of? He was like, it's made of internet. Okay, good. So I went to, let's say, a little older generation. So I went to a 26-year-old, 27-year-old, and I was like, all right, hey, buddy, what up? Can you help me with something? I'm trying to write a script, so I need your answer. Your answer will help me a lot. Can you tell me, in your own definition, in your own wording, what is the internet? And he looked at me for 5 minutes, going like, and in the end, could not give me a proper answer. So I have a question from you. What is the internet really? And we all know that it's a network because, as the name suggests, it's internet, it's inter-networks between networks. But what exactly is it? What is it made of? The best answer somebody gave me came from an actually much older gentleman. When I say much older gentleman, almost my dad's age. And he was like, what is the internet? It's me going shopping. And when I thought about it, I was like, all right, yeah, you're actually right. It is me going shopping, because what does a dad do when he goes shopping? Reluctantly takes the money out of his pocket, goes somewhere, spends the money, and he rolls his eyes and takes whatever he has to take and comes back. And the mom says, oh, that's not what I asked you to buy. So now dad is like, oh my God, are you kidding me? So he goes back to give this back and get another one and come and check. This is the internet. As stupid as it sounds, the internet works by basically transporting, just like that delivery man, by transporting data and bringing them back. So what does this mean? How can this work for us? Let's take a look at it together. Uh, this is basically the internet. Let me make it easy for you. This is everything that you see on your screen. It goes through these colorful lines. These are basically the international internet cables. Yes, there are physical cables that connect continents to each other. So what does that immediately translate into for you as a business owner? Let's say you are a person who is here in Canada, in Vancouver, and your client is somewhere all the way across the ocean here in Hong Kong. Now, the chances are that you're actually going to give very good service to this person. Just take a look and see how much connection, basically what we call bandwidth, you have. Now, if your client is in Russia, the story is going to be completely different. So, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the internet. That's it, as simple as this. So many of the things we're going to discuss will come back and relate to this very map. Such as what? Such as networks in general. A network is just like what the relationship I had with my ex-girlfriend. And I say ex-girlfriend because my wife might be watching this later and she might divorce me. So I will just try and give an example of somebody else. A network is basically a loop. That's all it is. Most people think a network is a lot of interconnected devices or a lot of interconnected entities where you send a signal and it will get somewhere. No, a network is a loop where you send a signal, it will get somewhere and will eventually come back to you. So this is basically a best example I can give you, this graph that you have here, that there are no networks that are one-ended. And why do I tell you this? This will, if at the end of today, you will understand why sometimes our websites are slow, why sometimes our emails don't get to the destination, why sometimes somebody gets our email but we don't get notified, or the other way around. How is it that some platforms such as MailChimp can actually count how many people have opened your email? What are how would they calculate the conversion rates, and so on and so forth. So, but let me, if you don't mind, I'm going to go through the first section of what I've written for you here. Every network is comprised of endpoint devices such as your laptop, smartphone, or tablet, hubs such as data servers. This is basically what it is. A person wants to get connected and get some information. This person will need to connect to multiple devices, multiple entities to get this information, and this information will loop back to him. This process is my dad going shopping and coming back. And sometimes I don't see the website that I want, so I send him out again to get the website for me. And this loop might happen multiple times. So I have a question. First, to pump up some energy, can anybody basically tell me, is there any volunteer who can explain to me what a website is? If you do, please raise your hand and we can go from there. Anyone? Anyone? Can anyone help me? Thank you very much. Nobody. Oh, George. Yes, please unmute yourself and go.
Okay, I'll give the same primitive answer as your dad's friend, older friend. It's just a place to go shopping.
That is absolutely correct. It is just a place to go shopping. Yes, very much. So now I have this, basically what you just gave me saved me a lot of time, because I can use the same example to show you what issues our websites are dealing with. Not what issues we are dealing with. No, what issues our websites are dealing with. So let's change roles. We are that shopkeeper, and a person wants to come shopping. Sherlock's dad wants to come shopping, and Sherlock's dad comes and says, "Hi, can I have an apple?" And I'm like, "Yes, please." And I sell this person an apple. This person goes home and comes back and says, "Okay, can I have another apple, please?" Okay, here's the second apple. And the person pays and leaves and comes back after 10 minutes. "Can I have a third apple, please?" And this process will go on forever. Each one, my dad went to the shop and came back. This is called a request, basically. So this will answer a lot of questions. Let me give you this example. Should I use WordPress or should I use ClickFunnels? It's all down to the same topic. So let's take a look at server communications, because basically the server in reality is your website, is that shop. And your browser, or basically the internet, is my dad going and coming, and me sitting here was my mom waiting to get the apples. So let's take a look at this. So a server can be both a software and a hardware. There are a lot of servers that are softwares these days. If you have heard of Amazon servers are not physical servers. They are clouds. They are shared area all around the world. That is why they work really well for some people and they do not work really well for others. And it basically, a server is a software or hardware device that accepts and responds to requests made over a network. So again, just like that shopkeeper, every time somebody comes and requests something, this shopkeeper says, yes, I have it, or no, I do not have it. And if they have it, then they give a picture of it to my dad. My dad goes home to my mom and says, is this the one you want? And because my dad is really scared of my mom if my mom says yes, then my dad would take the same picture. So he has carried it home once. He will carry it to the shop again and says, oh, by the way, yes, this is fine. Can you give me 5 of these? Okay, so now the process is changing. The process is improving. Instead of going 5 times, the person takes a picture and says, this, my mom says yes, and then goes and buys 5 of those. In this case, what we are seeing basically is how exactly you can see a website, how exactly people see your websites, people see your emails. We will get to that very quickly. There are basically 2 different types of servers. And I am so sorry if it's getting a little too technical. Nobody is required to remember all the theories, but this is just for us to better understand what we are dealing with. There are 2 different types of servers. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here is that how many requests happen until you see google.com on your screen. There are 2 different types of servers. There's name servers and there are web servers. A name server is the server that creates the name lisalevine.com, georgeverdelagha.com, driantajik.com, drl.com, rolemodelmaker.com. These are called name servers. How many people have domains? How many people already own domains? Give me a reaction there. Yes, very good. Thank you. Now, where did you buy your domain? I cannot hear any of you. You're all on mute.
GoDaddy.
GoDaddy, Google Domains.
I bought it from the business guy before me.
You bought it from the business guy before. That's not a very good place. It would be too expensive, I guess. Okay, others? Anyone? So the thing is, every name that you just said, except for the business guy before you, every other one that you said is technically a name server. So they also have name servers. A name server is a location, is a computer, is a network, for example, that keeps all of these names. And whenever somebody wants to go and check one of these names, first they need to check with a DNS server. Does this name exist? In many cases, if you try a domain that has not been registered yet, you see that your web browser will take you to GoDaddy or name.com or domain.com or somewhere like that to purchase it. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Very good. Thank you. Now, this is one time my dad going to one shop and coming back. Now my dad says, "Oh yes, I found it. I went there and they said this other place has apples." So this is the information center. We just go there. Excuse me, do you know where I can buy apples? And they're like, yeah, you can go to this web server and buy apples. So I come back and say, hi, they said if I go to the web server, I can buy apples. Should I go? And then say, okay, now you go to the other one, you go to the web server to get the apples and come back. This basically 4 times of movement, 4 times of signal, which all take a lot of time, are only enough to allow for letter A to appear on your desktop. That's it. Now, my question is, how much stuff do you have on your website? How much stuff do you have on your web page, on your ClickFunnels? Think about it. Just imagine your own website for a second. There are photos. There's a lot of text. Each text has styling. There are a lot of things involved. So each one of those will require 4 of these going and comings. So we will get to the point where later today where we're going to learn how to speed up websites. I think I need to do that on my own website as well, and so on and so forth. The terminologies that we need to know, and I will quickly go through them, are on our left. First, I think everybody knows what a domain is. A domain name is basically a name saved in a DNS server that correlates to a certain product, to a certain location in another place, in another server. An IP is basically IP is Internet Protocol. An IP is a coding that is used so that this computer doesn't lose track of what information it was looking for. So this browser, as you can see in the picture, asks the question from DNS server about a certain name. This example.com has a special IP, or Internet Protocol. So basically, let me put it this way. Our domain name is only a name. It does not relate to our actual website. Our actual website is this 4 pairs of numbers that you see there. If you go to your browser and put in your actual IP address, your website will load without a name. So this is what I'm trying to get across over here, that a lot of all internet does is to get information, code them, and send them to different places, and in the end bring them back to you with the results that you want. So later we will be talking about data servers. Right now, in our first session, it's not necessary to discuss that. We're going to talk about PHP and updating servers. So some of the easiest practices to make sure your websites never break down. We have already talked about name servers. We will talk about DNS and redirection, how you can basically put a mask on your website and present it as a different product. So your real website address is, for example, Sherlock. It looks very fat today.com, but you want to mask it with Sherlock is so handsome.com. And it doesn't need to relate, and yes, you can do that. We are going to talk about browsers and their roles, something that is overlooked, very honestly speaking, overlooked quite a lot. A lot of the issues that we are experiencing are not because of our websites or anything else, or they're only in our own computers. We will discuss that. We will talk about speed and caching. We will discuss expires headers. Also, they might all sound too tricky, but if I'm being very honest with you, they are so easy. I'm pretty sure I can teach it to my grandmother. So feel relaxed. Anytime you feel you have any question, please go ahead and put it in the chat. And I try to be answering questions every 20 minutes. So if you have questions, make sure you write in the chat and we go from there. So let's get going. Where do I get domain and where do I get hosting? And do I even need it? Before I answer this question, I need to answer a simple question. Do I even need a website? Yes and no. It really depends on who you are and what you're doing. If you are a model and the main product that you're presenting or service that you're presenting is exotic photos, then a website will not do anything for you. Because technically there are websites, but there are a different type of website we will discuss later, such as social media, static websites, such as Instagram, that are actually the place that is already made for you. So creating a website for yourself is pointless, is a waste of money, it's unnecessary. Who needs a website? Any person who has more than one type of presence online. Let's say I am a business, I have a web design company, so I need to be able to reach out to my customers through many different ways. So I do need a website because the main job of a website is to connect all of these to each other, not as in user experience, but connect them in terms of SEO and everything else. We will discuss that later. So if you do need a website, and I'm pretty sure every single person I see in this room have a website, so we can go ahead and talk about this. Where can you purchase domains and why? GoDaddy is my number one, and here is a reason. I hate them for hosting personally, and we'll explain why. They are very expensive, but for domains, they are perfect, and that is simply because, do you remember the name that we were talking about here, example.com? Every time you make any changes in that name, all of the internet needs to be updated. All of the internet needs to know that your name is not Sherlock Javadi anymore. Your name is Sherlock's Javadi from now on. So now that you have made this small change in your name, if let's say you are a website, if you change your name even a tiny bit, you need to announce it to the whole world. So if somebody's looking for you, they can find you easily. GoDaddy does this process very fast. Every time you make any changes to your domains, GoDaddy's changes are instant. But in reality, many others, such as HostGator, such as Bluehost, even Name.com, which is surprisingly old and famous, they are way slower than this. This is called the DNS change, domain name server change, and it generally takes between 24 to 48 hours. So my personal suggestion is if you are going to purchase a domain, go ahead and purchase it from GoDaddy. And basically, this way you can make sure that your website is much more responsive than buying your name server from somewhere else. Now, we will go into details of this, how exactly to select one and what are the elements that go behind the domain. But for now, I have made this list for you. If you decide to go ahead and purchase a domain, go to our, the same file exists in our Google Drive. Go ahead and open it, come to this slide, and these are all active links, so you can click on them and go to the domain purchase page of each company. How about hosting? Hosting, as we said, is basically a server. Hosting is that location, is that shop that has all of your products. So the shinier and the bigger, the more attention it gets, obviously. How many people have gone shopping? I'm speaking Vancouver here, so if you're not from Vancouver, bear with me. Vancouver people, how many of you go shopping to Metrotown? Okay, yeah, most people go. All right. I don't know Toronto. I'm sorry, Dr. I don't remember where you live, but you're in the States, right?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Oh my God. How's the weather?
Well, I can't complain about it.
Yeah, I know. Please complain, Florida. Oh my God. So now, here's the thing. How many people have gone shopping? Again, Vancouver people. How many of you have gone shopping north to what is it? Nordstrom? Is it the shopping mall? All right. Which one is prettier?
Nordstrom.
I cannot hear you, but Nordstrom. Yes. Which one do you spend like higher quality time in? Which one, basically, if you want, not just for shopping, but if you just want to have a more pleasant time, which one do you decide to go to? Nordstrom. And why is that? Because it simply looks better. People are more handsome. Shops are bigger, shinier. Everything is sexy. And I don't know, everything is nice. But Metrotown is like going to a bus stop, pretty much. Everybody's running around in random directions like pigeons, and every shop is dirty and smelly and everything else. But it works. It still works because everybody likes it, but not as much as Nordstrom. This is how exactly hosting works. Yes, there is a myth that says, oh, buy very cheap hosting. It's just fine. No, it's not. And here is the reason. It's a matter of privilege. Hosting companies are the real owners of the internet. So there is this fight that, oh, Apple owns the internet or Microsoft owns the internet. That is all just myth from people who don't really know how internet works. In reality, Bluehost owns the internet. QQ in China owns the internet. It's a funny name, but yeah, QQ is a server, is a hosting company in China. If they decide to disconnect their side of the internet, half of the world will go down. Let me just put it this way. If QQ shuts down their servers, Canada won't have internet. So now that being said, then how much money should I spend? How much money do you have? The more, the better. Let me put it this way. But I have basically gone here I tried to organize the best hosting companies I could find right now in 2020. Next year, we don't know. It might, another company might come up. But I try to organize them in the order that you can sort of trust, so you feel you can actually go and purchase from them. First of all, Bluehost, because they're a huge company. They are not really expensive. There are companies that are way more expensive than Bluehost, but the service is not really as good as Bluehost, and the responsiveness is not as fast. Number two is DreamHost. Is price-wise, it's very different from Bluehost. DreamHost is much cheaper, so people expect, following what I just said, people expect DreamHost not to be a very good company. And soon it will become a very bad company. It's because DreamHost is a very young host. So all of their tech is sort of up to date. And the reason that their services are faster than everybody else right now is that they have fewer customers with newer equipment. 2 years down the road, they're going to have the same equipment, but way more customers. So then in 2022, 2023, I'm not going to suggest DreamHost to you. HostMonster has always been one of my safest bets. I love them. They are in affiliation with Bluehost. They are part of the same company. So I personally like them. I suggest them to a lot of people. I myself recently moved to HostGator. Now, they are, again, as you can see, host something. They're all from Bluehost family. HostGator is okay, but not as good as HostMonster. And simply because HostGator has been having issues increasing their bandwidth, the capacity. They cannot keep up with the number of customers who are coming after them. GoDaddy is close to the end of this list, mainly because it was a perfect one for buying domains. It is not a good one for having hosting, and just because it's expensive and their customer service is really bad. And I know that this is going on the internet, so if people from GoDaddy, or if you're watching this, hi. Yes, I'm telling people not to really purchase hosting from GoDaddy because of the many technical issues that they have been dealing with in the last 6 months. Finally, SiteGround and InMotion Hosting are two other recommendations. Please go ahead and take a look at them. If you don't already have a hosting and if you need a website, take a look at these. And if you need help with setting up any of them, let me know. We will go ahead and help you with that. So let's go on. What is a content management system? First, before I go any further, how many people are super tired? Good, no one. How many people are tired? How many people are just okay? Can I offer coffee to anyone? No? Yes, I get a heart. Thank you. All right. So please drink your coffees. I promise you this is the only boring session. And I know they say the first session should be active and everything. Yes, that's not how tech works, unfortunately. The tech world is upside down. The beginning is really difficult. And as you go, because you gain more and more knowledge, it just becomes super easy. But most other things are different. You start easy and they become more difficult. So bear with me. Again, my friends, what is a content management system, or CMS? You're going to hear this terminology a lot in the next 5-6 sessions. It's very simple. WordPress is a content management system. ClickFunnels is a content management system. Wix is a content management system. Every tool that exists and creates form around your content is a content management system, CMS. And this we start talking about this hot topic right now, and I think it will stay with us until the very last day, simply because, if I may speak my own language, I have a little bit of problem with front-end builders. For those of you who know me, you know that I don't like Wix at all. ClickFunnels is my nemesis. I would like to find them and destroy them. Infusionsoft, I can tolerate, and I will explain each one of these. You don't, by the way, what I'm telling you right now is just my emotional side. When we get to the topic, you will hear this from me, that for some of you, you will definitely not need a WordPress website. Maybe a ClickFunnels page would be a much better solution for you. So let's take a look at these, and like a shallow dive into this just to see what the story is. First question, do I need WordPress or WYSWYG builders? What are WYSWYG? What you see is what you get. What you see is what you get. And it's not made up, I know. When I first thought, I was like, are you kidding me? That's the worst abbreviation ever. But yeah, apparently it's a real thing. So what you see, what you get builders are basically the front-end builders, like Wix, like many other ones that we just mentioned. WordPress used to be a code master zone. Nowadays, it is becoming closer and closer to other ones. It's becoming more of a front-end builder, which is not a bad thing necessarily. Let's take a look at each one and answer this first question. Which one should I get? Which one do I need? Should I even buy a ClickFunnels? Let's take a look. Quick question. Does anybody here own ClickFunnels or Infusionsoft? Okay. Dr. L, can you please unmute yourself? If I may, I want to ask you, how much do you pay for it every month?
ClickFunnels, I think, is like $97 a month.
Exactly. Now, can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
Why do you have your ClickFunnels? What do you use it for?
I have it for my landing pages, tracking, and my webinars are there.
Okay. Now, do you also have a WordPress website?
I do.
Okay. What if I told you that you don't need to pay that $97 a month? And you can actually have all of that on the much cheaper WordPress version that you already have. Would you be willing?
This class.
Exactly. Thank you. The main point here is to plug all the holes that exist in our business. Thank you, Dr. I really appreciate your response on that. You see, these are the main differences. WordPress, the good thing is that it's fully customizable. Anything, I'm saying this right now so you can make up your mind about your online platforms for the next 6 weeks. Anything that is possible on any platform can be replicated on WordPress. So I repeat, any feature, any quality, any service that is being provided on other platforms such as ClickFunnels, Infusionsoft, and so on and so forth can be developed on WordPress. Is it necessarily the best choice? So why should I even go with others? No, not really, because sometimes developing those services on WordPress becomes very time consuming and very expensive. So, and you just need that service for the next 1 month and you don't need it after that. Why should I spend $4,000 on an e-commerce platform, a custom e-commerce platform, when I just want to sell 3 books for the next month and then I'm done? So we will get to that. So that's the first thing about WordPress. So being fully customizable, it means it gives you access to various themes. So sky is the limit, basically. You can customize everything feature-wise and in terms of appearance and aesthetics of your online platform. It gives you access to plugins and widgets. Again, it's along the same path. So if you want to add booking panels, if you want to add memberships and everything else, these are all possible on WordPress. The biggest benefits, or the most important benefit of WordPress, is that if you have WordPress, it means you have hosting. If you have hosting, it means you have access to your own files. And why is this important? I need to give you a 30-second anecdote. A very good friend of mine who runs a very huge business has been having most of their business on ClickFunnels, and ClickFunnels hasn't been the nicest to them, let's just say, because the amount of content that they wanted to store was too much. ClickFunnels servers one day finally gave up, and they were like, okay, no, we cannot show you the content anymore, sorry. So they couldn't recover the content. ClickFunnels themselves couldn't recover the content. The content is gone forever. When I say content, I'm talking about 18 different pages, each page at least 30, 40,000 words of content on it. So everything they had worked for got in 1 minute. Now, why does this matter? I think you know why this matters. And how can we fix it? Very simple. If you have a WordPress website, you can always have a backup of everything you have created on your own computer. So in a sense, most people think that ClickFunnels, Infusionsoft, and so on and so forth are more stable. They are safer than WordPress. Not necessarily for the same reason. And in the end, the benefit of WordPress is that most things, most tools, and I'm going to show you in this class what tools you can use. The majority of tools are free. You all logged into, or I think most of you logged into Techmaster Academy today. Techmaster Academy has a login panel, it has membership, it has front end, it has sales page, and everything else. And I have not spent even 1 cent buying any tools, because all of them were free. So are there downsides to WordPress? Absolutely. It can get quite technical sometimes, but that's why you have me. You have our Facebook support group. It requires maintenance. Yes, if you have a WordPress website, you do need to do maintenance for it. While if you have basically what you get builders, then they are going to do the maintenance for you. Part of that $97 a month for ClickFunnels, for instance, is doing this maintenance for you, basically. And there are issues that can happen in incompatibilities that we will talk about. Sometimes one morning, you might just get to your website and, hey, let me look at my own website. I haven't seen it for a long time. And you put in your domain and nothing shows up. And you wait for hours and you're like, oh my God, this is not good. So we're also going to learn how to fix all of these issues that you may be having with your websites. On the other hand, what you get builders, they are a little heavier on the negative side, and I will show you why. Yes, they are ready to use. They're super easy. You just sign up and everything is there. You don't need to install anything. There are a lot of presets you can use. There are templates. They are usually quite fast, actually. So all the optimization happens automatically. So one of the good things about these builders is that you can take any image, for example, you have from your computer, and it's 10 megabytes and it's huge. You can just drop it there and they will automatically resize it and make it optimized for the best performance of your web page. While if you have WordPress, you need to do all of this manually. So those are all the positive things about what you get, what you get builders. And I do actually respect them for that. Are there negative things? Yes. And I would like to start from the bottom. First, SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. How many people actually see you on the internet? How many people can find you on the internet? The biggest downfall of what you get builders is SEO. Yes, they are improving a lot. I have to say one of the platforms that I really hate has done a great job fixing this, and that is Wix. Wix has helped improve a lot on SEO, but if you have a page on ClickFunnels, on many others, your SEO game has a lot of, it's going to bring you a lot of trouble. They are unreliable at times. The example I gave you was the best. The data was lost because everything was run on an AWS server, on a cloud server. It wasn't a physical server, so the cloud lost track of the data, and that's all that happened, basically. I said they're AWS based. Amazon world servers is AWS. So it's the specific, every time we're saying AWS, we're talking about Amazon servers. They cannot handle large amounts of content at all. Why would they? They're not even designed to do that. And maintenance requires customer service contact. There are issues. If there is an issue, you cannot fix it. As simple as that. You have no access to any panel to where you can solve your issue. So if you have an event in the morning and you have a certain page, a landing page prepared, or an event dashboard prepared, and it is on Infusionsoft and your event dashboard doesn't load, there's nothing you can do. You will have to wait for chat assistance, and most of them give you chat help, not even a phone call. So that is the main downfall here. Going forward, is there another solution for that? Absolutely. Google Sites. And let's take a minute and give a little respect to the holy grail of internet, Google, because if they decide to take their Google Sites down, even if you don't have a Google site, which you think you don't, you will disappear from the internet. As simple as that. By the way, just to say, this is about WordPress setup and configuration, just 2 videos I posted here. It's not part of our content for this session, but if you're curious just to see how all of this setup, how WordPress works and what exactly WordPress is, then you can watch these 2 videos. What are Google Sites? Google has been creating websites for its users since 2003, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have a Gmail, you have a Google site. Simple as that. You may not see it. If you go to actual Google sites, it might not show it to you, but you do have a page on Google. Every person has a profile page and a content page on Google, every Gmail owner. So all of the things, basically, every content that you upload stays on that page. That is the page Google uses for your SEO. Every time that you buy Google AdWords or any other tool for your own SEO purposes, Google saves all of this information on that page. Simple as that. So can this help us? Oh, yeah, absolutely. By the way, if you have tried to create a Google site, you will know that Google site itself, the builder is horrible. It's a very ugly page. Don't even try using it for your business. But try using it behind your business. Try using it, try creating a page and just for whatever reason, keeping a copy of all of your content on Google site. Has anybody done SEO? Have you paid anyone to do SEO for you? If you haven't, you're lucky. Dr. L, I'm sorry for that. TJ?
I pay tons of it.
Can I ask how much? If it's not too, okay, don't say it if you don't need to. But
like $4,000 a month.
There you go. So yes, that is actually how much marketing companies charge for SEO. Now, I'm not going to say that this is all a hoax. What I am saying is that a lot of what they're doing is simply creating content and putting it on your Google page. Simple as that. So if you don't have a Google site page, as a part of your assignment until next session, you need to create one Google site page for yourself. It's free. Everybody can have it. You don't need to buy any domains or you don't need to do anything for it. Do you know why? Because that page is connected to your Gmail account. And now all you need to do is to connect everything else to your Gmail account. And my friends, you will be on top of Google in 2 months, in 3 months. It's not that difficult, really. So we will take a look at that. I just wanted to take a moment and mention Google Sites and why they are so important. While most people neglect them, most businesses I know do not have any Google pages whatsoever. So this is basically everything I just explained. Why Google Sites? In one session we are going to talk about SEO. So we might as well just see an example of it here. This is an example. What you see in the lower right side of the page. This is what you see when you search for something. In this case, there is a bakery, Rose Bakery or Paris Bakery or whatsoever. Your search will create a result that has three main sections. First, there is a file name, there's a title tag, and description tag. You have all heard people say, oh, insert tags, it's good for your business, insert tags. These are the tags. So it was always a question from a lot of people, tag, do you mean that there is one word that you tag? No, a tag can be a paragraph, and we will discuss that soon. And how this can help your organic search result improvements. Basically, this can guarantee how you can improve your ranking on Google within a very short amount of time. So we have already talked about this. Please take a look at this for next session, because it's just a sort of, and it's fun when you start searching people and searching services, and you see what tags, what titles, and what file names they're using. This is the best practice that you can do for 5 to 10 minutes a day only. Just sit on your phone and Google services similar to your own, and just look at the Google results. Sorry, excuse my language. My tongue is just breaking. Take a look at the results that you get on Google, and just make a list of all the tags that they're using. And now all you need to do is to use the same tags for your own business or service. We're going to talk about this in session 4, I believe. Now, let's get back to my love, ClickFunnels. The problem with most front-end builders is cost, to be very honest. If front-end builders were as cheap as WordPress, I would recommend them most days of the week, because they're very easy to work with. Your website doesn't need to be a work of art, it needs to be functional. So these builders do a great job being functional, but they have some issues, mainly the cost. Let's start with Wix. Wix.com, it is suitable for startups. It features stable e-commerce and membership modules. Actually, the latest Wix update has improved a lot. The cost is up to $35 US dollars per month. So it's an okay amount of cost, but if you are going to have this platform for the next 3 to 5 years, just take a second and calculate how much money you will be spending on it, and if it makes financial sense for you or not. Kajabi is the second one that I will recommend. So Wix right now, with the latest update, I would recommend Wix every day of the week. It's very easy to work with, but it's still more expensive than WordPress options. Kajabi is the second one, surprisingly. Most people think, oh no, ClickFunnels is so good. No, actually, it's not really that good. There are other softwares that have been released lately and work much better than ClickFunnels. Kajabi is one of the most complete all-in-one builders. This is the reason. It gives you everything. ClickFunnels misses some features. Infusionsoft doesn't have some features at all. Kajabi has all of them pretty much. So the issue with it, making some certain integrations can be difficult. An example I can give you is I was creating a dashboard for a Zoom webinar a couple of weeks ago for someone, but for whatever reason, Zoom webinar and Kajabi did not communicate with each other. And we're going to get to integrations at the end of today's class. I will explain what the issue is and how it can be resolved on your end. So then you can decide if it's worth it to buy Kajabi for yourself or not. Kajabi goes for up to $399 US dollars per month. It is not very expensive compared to others, but I think it's worth it considering the features that they offer. So if you're going to have a project soon, think of Kajabi, take a look at it, and see if it's the right platform for you. The last option is ClickFunnels, and I think you can see why in the picture. ClickFunnels gives 3 options. There's ClickFunnels, which is $97 a month, which is enough for most businesses. There's ClickFunnels Platinum, which is $297 a month. And I think you know where I'm going with this, the last one. ClickFunnels has a service of $2,497 US dollars a month. Why? No, seriously, why? especially when I go back to telling you that everything that package has, can be recreated on WordPress. So my question would be, if you or somebody you know has a project that large, does it make more sense to just spend $5,000-$6,000 on a website that has all of those, or pay $2,500 a month to ClickFunnels? So this picture is the main issue I have with ClickFunnels. It's the most expensive, but it is not the best equipped necessarily. It is very great for quick page setups, honestly, as I've written here for you. If you just have something that needs to be functional in the next 5 minutes, ClickFunnels, absolutely. Wix has a longer process. ClickFunnels has a much shorter process, for instance. It has useful design features that are simple, yet they work. It is easy to add CSS or custom styling codes to it. But it's up to, as I said, $2,500. So up to you if you want to purchase it. The last one that I would recommend is Squarespace. Squarespace is improving. I can see it is improving every month. So they're having new updates every month. And with every update, things are working better. So I would suggest everyone, if you want to have sort of a cost-effective platform that goes on monthly basis, not just annual billing, then Squarespace is actually an option you need to look at.
I have a quick question.
Yes, I wanted to actually say before I go on to emails, if anybody has questions, please go ahead and raise your hand in Zoom so I can go ahead and answer it. And we'll start with TJ. Yes, TJ, how can I help?
When you were talking about Wix and about the monthly cost of $35 a month,
Yeah.
I got the sense that you find it is okay, while we need to calculate if it works for us. But when you were explaining about Kajabi, although it was 11 times more than Wix, I got the sense that it's worth it. So I just couldn't realize what
Which one?
really is the difference between these two, that one of them is 11 times more and it's worth it.
So that's actually a very good question. Thanks for asking that. This session, when we get to CMS systems, we are going to actually work with both of them. So I'm going to show you what the differences are. Let's put it this way. Wix is a more user-friendly, everyday builder. So Wix is very good for $35 per month because it is very easy to use, and it has had huge improvements when it comes to SEO. So if you are a business whose source of traffic is mainly SEO, then between Wix and Kajabi, I would go with Wix. Why is Kajabi is also a good option, even though it is so expensive? It can be, by the way. These are the most expensive of each service. They all have cheaper services as well, except for ClickFunnels, where the cheapest is $97 per month. Kajabi's most expensive platform is $399 per month. And even that can be worth it, not because of the features that Wix was giving, but mainly because Kajabi helps by bringing all the tools that you need in one place, the tools that are not available to Wix users. A very good example I can give you would be creating a sales loop where you want people to come purchase a membership, and they are charged automatically on an annual or semi-annual or monthly or bi-weekly or in any shape or form that you want, until a certain time. And then halfway you decide to change the currency. So now there are exchange rates and everything that need to be applied. Imagine a very complex scenario like that. Kajabi is a very good platform for such projects. Wix cannot handle that. What is Wix good for? If you just want a page where people can become members, for example, again, being a membership is a good example because it's a very complex process. You want people to become members and be able to purchase your products and show it on their profile. It's not that complex. Wix would be a much better solution for this. But like I said, in session 5, when we get to CMS and what you see, what you get builders, we're going to work with all of them. So you will actually see why one of them is 10 times the price of the other, but it could still be worth it.
Uh-huh.
Could I answer your question?
Yeah, for sure.
Perfect. Guys, so far, do you have any questions? And if you have questions, please go ahead and raise your hand and start asking your question. I'll be more than happy to answer. Lisa, do you have any questions? Please? No? Dr. L? No? Looking handsome. George? I don't see you there. Mo and TJ asked the question. Thank you very much. We'll be done soon with this. I'm going to show you some of the things that you already own so that you can start doing your homework for next session. Let's take a look at this. The reason this I have decided to include this module is the email module is that everything is based on email. This is North America. People email each other even when they want to go to washroom. So seriously, like nowhere else in the world is there such heavy email culture. It's only in the States and Canada where people email each other so much. Like you go to Europe and people are like, I texted you. And when did you text me? I don't know. I just texted you sometime. It's much more laid back in that sense. The issue is that a lot of services, a lot of platforms such as GoDaddy, they charge a lot of money to create a business email for you. For example, Sherlock@techmasteracademy.com. That would be something that you have to pay $180 a month, $180 a year to GoDaddy to create for you. Or Dr. L@rolemodelmaker.com would be the same price, same cost. So if you have GoDaddy, log in and take a look at their email packages, and you see that they can go up to $250 a year, which is not really necessary, considering that if you already have a hosting account, you have access to something called a cPanel. Now I'm going to show all of this to you right after I'm done with this PowerPoint. But a cPanel is basically a control panel of your website, of everything that you have. With cPanel, you have access to many features, most of which are just prepared for you for free. And people, companies like GoDaddy still charge people and do it for them simply because people don't know they already have it. It sounds like a dirty practice, but yes, it is a dirty practice, but they do it. And believe it or not, a lot of people pay for it. One of the most expensive hosting packages that GoDaddy sells is at, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, $150 a year. That's it. That's one of the most expensive. So it has every feature you can imagine. Now, on that hosting service, or even much cheaper versions of that hosting service, you can create infinite business emails for yourself with infinite inbox size, unlimited inbox size. For the same feature, yes, GoDaddy charges $200, $250 a year just for your email. So this is a very good example of why we are doing this today. Things can go so well. You can actually create autoresponders. You can create like what you do with a MailChimp, for instance, for people to be saved in a mailing list and to receive a welcome email with a certain link and certain design. You don't even need MailChimp. You don't even need Aweber. All of this can be done through your hosting. Now, most people don't do it because then they will have to come and learn this. It's difficult. Anyway, you know. So we will go through cPanel in depth, mainly when I want to show you how you can troubleshoot your own websites, how you can find what's wrong with it, and if something goes wrong, where to look or where to get help and who to get help from. And lastly, integrations, the scariest of them all, but at the same time, one of my favorite topics.
Can I just ask you a quick
Yes,
thing?
please, go ahead.
When you were talking about the emails,
Mhm.
I had a personal experience of my emails having issues all the time, and I
Yes.
had no clue how it works. And every time they were calling me, it's because of a server or it's because of something else, and I had no clue. Then there were emails not coming, there were emails not uploading, and we always had issues. So
Mhm.
the guy suggested me, the person who I'm not working with, but part of the system he applied, still is in my company.
Mhm.
So the guy suggested me that we go to Google and start paying Google monthly. So we basically have Vancouver Dental Spa email, but it's on Google. So we can basically go to Gmail and say Vancouver Dental Spa and get access to our email. And they said
Yes.
it's much more reliable, and fortunately it is. But the thing is, if I can have something as reliable and as good, why I should pay for it? But on
Exactly.
the other hand, I do not want to go through the risk of getting involved with something bad again, and my team having problem for a week or two because they're not receiving emails, and it's continuous test and error situation for them. So how do you comment on that?
So first, I'm sorry, it might sound sometimes a little snobbish or something, but I'll try to give you the most direct answer I can. If somebody, if let's say in our industry, there's always a solution, and then there is a good solution, and then there's an easy solution. Most people, considering that the cost does not come out of their own pockets, but it comes out of the customer's pocket, they suggest the easiest solution, which is usually the most expensive. Of course, to be very honest, I'm not going to deny it. Even I have done it sometimes because there are cases where the client has certain requirements, and even though I know that I can create what they want as reliably as they need it, but I will need a certain amount of time to do that this client doesn't have. Now, this, I'm being optimistic. A lot of, like I said, unfortunately, it's a bad practice that exists in this industry. A lot of agencies simply think, okay, so that's an easy solution. I don't need to do anything for that. The money comes out of clients' pockets. So yes, go ahead and get that. So to give you a direct answer, yes, you can have an email service on your own hosting that is as reliable as Google, and you don't need to pay for that. The only reason somebody would suggest you to go ahead and pay Google to do that is that it's the easiest solution. Now, we will, like I said, I'm going to show you how exactly, sorry, my Google started to speak. I said Google so many times, she started to talk. Uh, the I will show you how exactly you can set up an email address that never ends up in spam. I'm going to show you how to set up an email address that never gets blacklisted, and also an email address that has a masking, that basically the email address itself is info@sketchbros, for example, my company's email, but when people receive it, it says Sherlock Javadi, or it says Vancouver Dental Spa, or any the name of your business. So long answer to your short question, I'm not going to judge why that person gave you that suggestion, but that is the response I have. Liz, do you have a question? No? Okay, guys, anyone? George? Dr. L, all good? Let's finish it? Perfect. So Web 2 and integrations. Why Web 2? So where was Web 1? This is Web 2? Yes. When the web started in late 1980s, early 1990s, that was Web 1. Web 1, as the name suggests, is not number 1, and this Web 2 is not number 2. Web 1 is a one-direction web. When Web 1 was launched, you could only and only see things online. You could not send any files. You could only receive files. So every website looks like Yahoo, which is ugh. Or all websites. So everything, there were some pictures, there were a few lines of writing, and that was it. That was your website, and you could see it, and nobody really cared about it until Web 2, or two-directional web, came along. Two-directional web allowed for users to share content as well. If Web 2 didn't exist, I wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't have your online platforms. you would have your online platforms, nobody would look at it because internet would not be this interactive place that we are in today. If right now Zoom exists and you can see me and I can see you because of Web 2. So that's the meaning of Web 2. Now, Web 2 by nature allows for different devices or different people to communicate. This communication requires something called a process called integration. Integration is basically when, let's give a very good example. One of our friends here who has not said a word yet, Mo, he's a phenomenal guitar player. I'm an okay drummer, okay? So if you listen to him, you're gonna go like, nice. If you listen to me alone, you're gonna go like, oh my gosh, you're like just quiet. But when we jam together and you listen to both of us at the same time, then you're going to go like, yes, this is the best music ever. This is integration. You harmonize two services so they can unite and work as one. Very good examples of that would be the services that you see on the screen. There are integrations that only require a Web 1 functionality because they're just in one direction. Webinar Jam is a very good example of that, right? When you have in Webinar Jam, people can't, at least couldn't, now I'm not very sure, but they cannot, the users cannot necessarily send any voices or talk or anything. They can just watch the webinar until the webinar is over. It's a one direction or a unidirectional API. MailChimp is the same thing, or Aweber or many others. Somebody submits a form on your website and MailChimp gets the information. Done. It doesn't communicate to your website again, or many other tools. There are also interactive APIs or interactive integrations that are based on Web 2, such as Stripe, the love of my life. If it didn't exist, I wouldn't have money. They take a lot of money out of my pocket, I have to say. They're not as expensive as PayPal, I want to say. But the main reason I'm using Stripe is that Stripe uses a new technology, a technology like no other platform. Stripe allows you to create an empire where you can receive payments from every creature you can imagine in every format you want. PayPal, unfortunately, doesn't allow for that. So how does Stripe do this? By communicating to different devices, getting information, sending information back, and receiving some more. A good other example would be Zoom itself. That's actually the best example I can give you. Zoom, as you can see me. Do you see me, right? You see me? Good. I can see you too. We can hear each other. That's the best example of an interactive API, how data comes back, and it's always in transmission. I have included Divi, and those who know Divi might say, but Divi is a theme. How is that? Yes, it is. It is a theme, and it does communicate. And as we get to our WordPress session, I'm going to suggest a couple of themes for your WordPress website to you. And my number one suggestion would be Divi. Now, I always tell my clients I select Divi because it's easy to work with. Actually, it's not. Divi is the most complex theme that exists. The reason I suggest Divi to people is that it makes your website load over Web 2 at all times. Simple as that. It creates an interactive network around your website. I will share all these articles with you before our next session, but there was a study since 2018 to 2020 on HTML-based themes such as Divi to see if they have any effect on SEO ranking. And actually they do. Websites that have Divi, they get better results from their SEO tag insertion and everything else compared to websites that are using, let's say, Elementor, because Elementor is not even a theme. We will get to that point later. And Zapier, has anybody used Zapier before? This, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the love of your life for the next 3-4 years to come. And this is the reason. The whole integration that sounds so scary can be done through a platform who would happily come, step in the middle of your business, take one part of your business and take another part of your business and integrate it for you, mainly for free. You don't even need to pay it for most integrations. So we're going to get to talk about that. So I just want to make sure, does the idea of integration and communication of services with each other, that does it make sense? Is it understandable and clear to everyone? If yes, please go ahead and give me a big thumb up. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, perfect. And that brings us to the last step. The last thing we will be discussing is the main reason we are here. We're going to learn everything that we talked about to get to here. Our purpose is to improve our business, right? That's why you're here. You want to learn a little, you want to learn about the tools that you have a little better so you can improve your business and improve your revenue. This funnel graph, as you can see, cropped really, really poorly because I took it off the Google, and I don't need to search for the creative because this is the definition of a sales funnel. This is the simplest interpretation of sales funnel. You have traffic coming from everywhere, and in the end, it's going to give you high quality leads who are willing to pay for your services. Now, what we will be doing at the end of this course is to make sure every single one of you have every single step of your funnel completely taken care of. So think of this course not just as a course where you learn. This is a course where you're going to fix all the issues that you have with the tools all the way to the funnel. So by the time you're done, you should be making more money. So what does that involve? First, we're in our final session, we're going to learn the techniques we can use in order to get traffic in, more and more traffic in. A good now, this is you guys all know me, so I'm not going to say yes. In our many years of experience, no, my company is very young. My company is not that old. You all know that. But I can be confident enough to say that in terms of SEO, I don't need to do anything else for the next 10 years. I spent 2 months of my time, worked on it, and now it's giving me results. So I'm getting clients again, and again. So what we will be looking at is how to exactly implement your SEO, how to create and improve your Google My Business. Basically, it's a service that if you don't have, you don't exist. It's the same service that collaborates with your Gmail and your Google pages to bring you up and show you to the world. Lead capture pages, basically we will learn how to design sales pages and landing pages. So yes, we are actually going to talk design and some sales psychology of how you can create a page without knowing any graphics, without knowing any special software, how you can create a page that is attractive enough to sell. Email campaigns, memberships, and events. That's basically what we do when you are these generic leads are inside our process. What we do to narrow it down to those few clients that we are sure at the end of the funnel will be paying for our services or products, such as the email campaigns that we send. How many people here know Iman? Thank you. Okay, so he's the best example for this. You receive an email from Iman every 2 days, pretty much. It's even sometimes annoying, but it works. If I go anywhere and I say Iman, everyone's like, oh yeah, I know that guy. Either because they have heard about him or they have received one of his emails, one of these two. So that's what exactly we're discussing. CRM automated messages, good example of that, and video integrations. Yes, video integrations. I'm going to show you how you can create a video blog and send it to your clients to keep them engaged with yourself and have them click your call to action buttons. And in the end, we're going to learn how we can get other websites to promote our website so that it gives more traffic, more traction to our business. And that's the end. I'm just going to do a very quick review, a 30-second review, just to make sure everybody is on the same pace with me. And then we're going to go over homework, and then I will answer a few questions before we call it a day. So one of the first things that we discussed was domain, name servers, and hosting. What I will be asking you to do for next session is to choose a domain that you already own, or buy a domain if you don't already have, buy a domain that goes with your website. Log in, go and familiarize yourself with your domain. So basically, if you bought it on GoDaddy, go and log into your GoDaddy account. If you bought it on Google, go ahead and log into your Google account and try to find your name servers. Now, for this example, I am going to show you GoDaddy as what exactly I'm referring to and what exactly you should be looking for. Like we said, every domain has a name server, or what we call DNS, domain name server. Select any of your domains that you want, and as you can see, there is a button next to it that says DNS or name server. So it's not really that difficult. Once you click that, these are your name servers. Congratulations. So as a practice, I don't expect you to change anything, but I want you to try and log into your domain if you have access. If you don't have access and somebody else has access to it, please ask them to delegate access to you so that you know how exactly to manage it yourself. Go and find select one of your domains. In this case, I'm looking at techmasteracademy.com, and I need to find my name servers. Please find them as a part of your homework. As your second homework, if you have a hosting company, go with them. This is completely sort of optional. If you don't have hosting, or you don't even have a website, let's say you have ClickFunnels, then don't buy it. You might not even need it. So, but if you do own a hosting service, which I think most people here do, actually I know most people here do, go ahead and log into your hosting company and try and find your IP address. What was IP address? I'm going to do a quick review. If you remember, when we talked about this diagram, the IP address is 4 sets of numbers that are the real names of your website, the real names of your content, then the real names of your server. So in this case, we have 12, 34, 56, 78, which is like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8. But every hosting company has this information. If you cannot find it, don't worry about it. The purpose of the homework of this week is not really homework, but it's just for you to become a little more familiar with the environment we will be working in. If you still cannot find your way around it, don't worry. In this case, I will be using, I'm going to show you an example of HostGator and to show you what exactly cPanel is, as we discussed about it. So, like I said, I've been using HostGator recently. There are some good experiences and some bad experiences I will share with you. So if later on you ever decide to change your hosting company, you have a good example. But you see, your hosting company should be giving you this option, which says launch cPanel or launch control panel. This is where you can control all of your content. Are you ready? Because you're going to see what exactly all of my business looks like. This is all of my business. Welcome. Everything that you have ever seen from me, heard from me, anything that I have on any website is all here. And to be very specific, just to make it a little more clear, do you remember the email that we were talking about? These are my emails. Some of you have received an email from Sherlock at techmasteracademy.com. You received emails from my other email accounts. They were all created for free. Honestly, I've never paid for any of this. Maybe call me cheap, but that's how I work. Then the other features that cPanel give us is some of the information that we require. If you look at the right side of my screen, the section I'm highlighting, this is the general information of my server, because this is the control panel of my server. So who's the user? What is the primary domain? My primary website here is Sketchbros. When was the last login? Where was the last login? This is the IP address of my computer, because I was the last person who logged into this website. So later we're going to take a look at this and see how we can use this for security purposes, especially if you have a website where you're processing credit cards and everything else. We are going to learn a little about the security of your business. And oh, guess what? It also gives us our name servers, our primary and secondary name servers. And it also gives us a site IP. It might look a little too much, but like I said, our first week is just about, consider this session as an orientation session. So the purpose is for us to just become more familiar with all of this terminology. So that scary picture that we have just goes away. So please, if you do have a hosting service, log in and try and find this information and also the site IP of your website. Before I go to the next assignment, does anybody have any questions? Is that a yes, ma'am?
Okay, so my hosting thing is SiteGround.
Okay, very good.
Okay.
That's perfect. Actually, okay, do not tell anyone I'm doing this, but let me just quickly close some of the things I don't need. Okay. Excuse me, I'm going to share my screen in a second again. I'm just closing all the 10,000 tabs open here. Sign out. Okay. SiteGround, just like any other hosting company, gives you the same options. Let's take a look. I'm gonna change, let me just open a new one. I don't remember the SiteGround login or this SiteGround. Good, you see, I just searched SiteGround. I'm clicking here. I'm going to log in. I don't remember which one it was. My apologies. But when you log into your SiteGround, it will immediately give you access to cPanel, to control panel. That's all you need to do, because then it doesn't matter where you bought your hosting. All cPanels in the world look the exact same way. Now, maybe some of the features exist here that don't exist on your cPanel, or the other way around, because like here, this is HostGator Website Essentials. Of course, SiteGround doesn't promote HostGator's product, right? But what I'm saying is, when it comes to your files, when it comes to databases, domains, email, all cPanels have the same. When it comes to all the information that we are looking for on the right, the name servers and IP addresses, all of the cPanels give you the same information. So that's not something you need to worry about. And by the way, guys, on Tuesday, we are going to practice all of these. We're going to go shopping. We're going to buy a domain. We're going to, I'm going to show you how exactly a website works and how your DNS really works. So you can, there is a map I will give you next session, where you can actually see how your name server changes happen. As they happen, you can see dots around the world going green, 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 green. Oh, that's my website going live. So take a look, familiarize yourself with everything that we have here. Your cPanel is going to be something that you do need to learn your way around it. And I will show you later why. In our second or third session, we're going to have a broken website issue. And we're going to fix it. So we will need to learn how exactly to access all of the files on our servers, if necessary, which is nothing that scary that it looks. It's not really. How you can simply go like, oh, this is my website. It says, where are you? It says TechMaster Academy. Oh, it says that I have a problem with this file. So I go and delete that file. Done. So this is a very good example that, even though most people think it's really you need to be really tech savvy to do this. No, not really. This is just changing. This is simple, as simple as changing a bulb on the headlights of your car. Yes, you might cut your fingers a little bit, but it's doable. And once you learn it, how to do it once, you will never forget it. Last but not least, my friends, I'm quickly going to go back to our assignments. Oops, sorry, just one sec. Come on, assignments. It's not really assignments, it's mainly just roaming around and learning stuff. But is about your funnel. So most people who are here already have a funnel, you already have a business, you already have a loop where your clients, you have a process from the time people enter and where they enter from, whether it's referrals or anything else, or it's affiliates or SEO or anything that it is. I think everybody here has a process, or even if you don't have, take your time and think about it, because without a sales funnel, no business can survive online. Even if you are not selling anything, even if you are a charity, you still need to follow the same pattern. If you're a charity, you're collecting donations for, let's say, underprivileged children. You need people to come into your website to make a donation. So it's not necessarily for selling something. This is as simple as it looks. This is the secret behind why some websites don't make sense, why most websites don't have any visitors, while there are some very simple, even ugly websites, but the traffic is ridiculously high. So this is the main reason. So please take a look at this. Think about it from your own perspective. As next session, in the practice session, we're going to look at each one of your funnels, and we're going to select the tools that you need for each one if you don't already own. So please go ahead and sketch your funnel on a piece of paper and decide on the tools you need. So whatever ideas you have, next session, we're going to put it in discussion, and we will talk about that. Select a Gmail address to manage your platforms. So if you don't already have a Gmail for your business, and only for your business, not for personal use, please create one. If you already have a Gmail that you use for your business, but you have other things also other than your business that are handled by that Gmail, please keep using that, but create a new one. And I will show you why two purposes should not be connected to the same Gmail account and what effect it can have on your business. And select your CRM of choice. So basically, this is the number 5 is only for people who already know how APIs work. Like I know Mo knows, some of you might know, most of you may not know. So that's why I wrote optional. Don't worry about it. The second part is optional. The first part is actually your assignment. A CRM is, again, a software like MailChimp or Aweber or ActiveCampaign or anything that you're using that collects and holds on to your mailing list. Simple as that. So what I will ask you next session is that what is your CRM? Which most people have an answer for. Oh, I use ActiveCampaign, or I know, George, you use Aweber, I know that. But then I'm going to give you a follow-up question, and that is, why are you using that platform? And the response, oh, somebody told me it was good, is not the response we're looking for. So if you already have a CRM, go and familiarize yourself with that CRM a little more. Maybe study and maybe watch some reviews on it, just to know what exactly your CRM can do for you. So you can answer my question next session. Like, okay, Sherlock, you use MailChimp. Why do you use MailChimp? Well, because I'm cheap. MailChimp gives you the service for free for the first 2,000 members. There you go. That's why. There could be ActiveCampaign is 10,000 times better than MailChimp, but you have to pay up front. At least now it's like that. So there you go. But I need you to be able to know your CRM well enough to be able to tell me why you are using it. So in case we end up deciding that this is not the correct platform for you, then we can select the correct platform for you, and you can go ahead and move all of your contacts over there. And finally, please go ahead and put items number 1 to 5 in a Microsoft Word file and share it in our Facebook group. Title the file your name and then week 1 homework. I will be checking all of your assignments before Tuesday. On Tuesday, like I said, it's a practice session, so you will not be on mute. Your cameras will not necessarily be shut down. We are going to divide the class into different, we're going to go to breakout rooms. We're going to take turns and share our screens, share the issues we have with other people and what we are trying to do. And I will finally, in the end, I will give feedback to every person. If you have certain issues, I will go ahead and resolve it for you.